Hello, Stephanie Young, District 1 Manager for the Department of Neighborhoods, part of the Mayor's Office in the City of Detroit. It's a pleasure to be here interviewing with my former intern, Emily Smith. And so let's get started.
All right. So where did you first live in Detroit when you were younger then?
Well, I lived on the west side of Detroit. Right now I'm over here on the northwest side of Detroit, but I lived on the west side. So that would be considered around Grand River and Tigerman area of a street called Spokane. It's real interesting because I took my sons, you know I have two boys, one now is a freshman in college, one is a senior in high school, and I took them on my old block, Spokane, where I used to live, and I showed them this is where I used to live, and they looked and they were like, you used to live in a garage? Because the house had been demolished. And the next door neighbors bought the lot and built an attached garage.
Oh my gosh.
And so I said, you know, out of the mouth of babes, right? But that's a neighborhood that's changed a lot. And it changed really after the riots. The 67 riots, I was 2. And we left shortly thereafter. And then we moved straight to northwest side of Detroit. I live right down the street from Mumford High School. So Mumford is there at Wyoming and Curtis area. I lived on a street called Griggs and grew up there from age 6 till even after getting married and had my 2 boys in that same house. No, then I moved over here to District 1, where you know I represent this area for the mayor. And I moved here in 2009.
Okay. But do you remember kind of the racial ethnic composition of that first neighborhood you lived in?
Yeah, well, we moved when I was 6, so I do remember.
Oh.
And at that time, it was where I moved from, that street called Spokane.
Mm-hmm.
It was already predominantly African American then, so that would be like 1970, 1971. But what was interesting is we chose to go to a church nearby, Nazareth Lutheran Evangelical Church.
Okay.
And the church was still, it was a really mixed church.
Yeah.
You know, we had a Caucasian pastor, it was a mixed congregation. But shortly again, that started changing too. But like on my block and in my neighborhood, no. No.
No, come together.
They did. Well, here's the thing: that church was because it was evangelical, so
right.
it was evangelistic in nature, meaning we're an outreach ministry, and we're there to go out and to seek out folk that need to know the love of God,
Yeah.
and then B, if they need help. And so they embraced their neighbors. They embraced us. They embraced everyone, and we got there because I have an older brother and sister. My brother was 11 years older than me. He's passed away now, but my sister was 9 years older than me. So they were the ones who found the church because the church had a gymnasium. And they always welcomed the kids from the neighborhood. And they played on their basketball team. We still have the trophies of them winning basketball games with this church. And that's how the church was able to get them engaged and get the family engaged. Because now you want to know where your children are going, what they're doing, who they're doing it with. And then you're taken by that. It's a genuine love that folks just shared with them there. So that's kind of how it was. The divide, there was no divide. It was all about the love of God. It was all about His will being done in that place. 65. I don't have any personal recollection, but all I do remember are what my sister. It's real interesting. I remember more about what she said about it.
I'm sure.
Than what my parents even talked about.
Really?
My brother, he tried to be a radical. What was he? Oh my goodness. The Black Panthers. Yes.
Oh.
My sister, she was like, "Oh, brother, you tried to join the Black Panthers." He was like 12 or something. And, you know, fight the power to the brothers and all of that. And she was like, "He's crazy. What is he doing? Look at the church we go to. They're fine, but fight the brothers."
Yeah.
You know, it was crazy stuff. But those are the stories that I heard growing up. And because of that, when you have siblings that much older than you, then you are you're a little sister. You know, I tell people it's like growing up with two sets of parents. The cool set, the cool ones, which were my brother and sister, let me do whatever I want to do, and then the disciplinarians, the actual mother and father who set ground rules and all those kind of things, and I'd get in trouble if I didn't do them. And just being under them, I would pick up the things that they would say. So when my brother was going through his Black Pantherism as a young boy, if I was, we moved there and I was like 6, so that would make him 17.
Okay.
So he was like 14 around riot time and the aftermath, and wanted to be a Black Panther, and then everything became them white folk and hunkies and stuff like that. And you're like, you don't know what that is. And I can hear my mother telling the story to this day. They were building 96 Expressway around that time. We travel every day and don't think about it, but it literally came through a neighborhood. That's the only way you can build an expressway. You take it through a neighborhood. And there were workers out there, and she said, and you looked up and you saw all those workers, Stephanie, and they were all white, and you said, what are those monkeys doing over here? I was like, what did I say? She was like, you sure did, but I know you got it from your knucklehead brother out there running around with the Black Panthers. Like, what?
Oh,
because you're young and you don't know. But at the same time, we would go to this church with our Caucasian brothers and sisters, and all we knew was love, and that's all we knew. So
it's really
strange. That's right. You don't know what to how to process that when you're young. But I always knew church was a safe place with them. Always. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So it displaced a number of people. That's what happens. And so, it didn't displace us, but it was close enough where you knew the people that were there no longer went to your neighborhood school anymore, and things like that. So, and then that's gonna happen anytime there's a major development. Anytime there's a bunch of development, there's gonna be there's a shift in the landscape, some kind of way. So I'm certain there was much more than what I can recall, but I do know that in particular families had to move. They moved out of neighborhood. Where they went, we don't necessarily know.
The real estate market and stuff.
So my parents, the first house from Spokane that we lived in actually used to be my mother's house.
Wow.
So that would be my grandmother.
Yeah.
And so they actually took care of her there, and then she passed away, and then they got the house. So they stayed there up until the neighborhood, like I said, the neighborhood started changing. Right, it started to get dangerous. Somebody was killed on our street. I remember all those things. I remember families starting to move.
Okay.
I have really close friends, a little girl, and I look up, they're like, I remember moving day with one family. I was just like, for real? Y'all leaving? And then it became our turn. We moved in 71. So I was like 6. And then moved over to the northwest side of Detroit and bought that house. Okay. So we've like never been renters. Okay. All I've known is home ownership. They were, they inherited a house and that was theirs to own, and then they bought the house when they moved again. And then when both my parents passed away, they left the house to the 3 siblings, and at that time I was married and just had the 2 boys, and we were there taking care of my mom before she passed away. And so my brother and sister, they were like, let's just split it 3 ways. Steph, you keep the house, and then I continued to raise my family there and gave them each their cut. Yeah.
So now today, how do you see these neighborhoods, or even any other Detroit neighborhoods? How have they changed, and especially that racial ethnic composition? How has it changed or stayed the same in different areas?
So I'll use my experience working with the city. Yeah. When I first came to work with the city, it was actually under the Kilpatrick administration back in, I think, 2002, his very first term. And I was what's called a neighborhood city hall manager at that time. And my office was on West Warren, near Evergreen. And so there's a huge Syrian refugee population that's moving in. There was like spillage from Dearborn over into Warrendale. And it was very, very diverse and it was interesting having to navigate over there because they still had a strong Polish population over there that's now integrating with African American, Syrian refugees. And how are we all going to get along?
Yeah.
And quite honestly, they didn't all get along. And I would be in the middle of some of that stuff sometimes. And, I had some of my Caucasian brethren like, what is going on with our community over here? We gotta fight to keep it. And I'm like, this is just how the world is. I'm being honest with you. And then guess what? So then there became a big exodus. And they fought the good fight, they considered, and then just started leaving. It was very interesting. I mean, I'll just be frank and honest with you. It was like, okay, now we there was some great racial tensions.
Yeah.
It just really was. And it was like, okay, now we tolerated you black folks. I'm just telling you. But now this is a whole different thing because I don't even understand what they're saying because now they have this communication divide where I can't even talk to my neighbor next door to say, trash day is Tuesday. Yeah. What do you do with that? How do you do that? And you're trying to maintain a community and trying to keep it clean and trying to keep all these things, and then the folks are coming in with their own ethnic beliefs, religious beliefs, and they're just operating the way they've always operated. They're just operating a place that you call home first. Okay? So now how do we find a way to integrate all of that? And so it got tricky, but I'll tell you, many just left. Yeah, many just left. So that's over in that Warrendale area. Like I said, from Ford Road, well, there's a street called Paul that kind of divided Detroit from Dearborn. It was from Paul all the way to Joy Road even. Folks were just trying to find a way to navigate. And now, pretty much folks have gotten us. Like, so this is how it's going to be. In the city of Detroit, we're a welcoming city.
Yeah.
The mayor is, one of his top priorities is to let anybody who wants to live here know that you're welcome here. And we're really working closely with population of, like I said, the refugees over there in that area. If you want to come, we want to have you. And we're willing to work with you. We have the housing stock. You don't have to look for houses. We have them.
Yeah.
Through the Land Bank Authority, the Land Bank has tens of thousands of houses.
Yeah.
So we can help you set up home here. Let this be the place that you want to call home. Become new Detroiters. We're here for you.